Welcome to The Truth About Cancer, a Global Quest. I'm your host, Ty Bollinger. Now, many of you may have seen the Quest for the Cures last year. We were able to travel across the United States interviewing doctors, scientists, researchers, and cancer patients to learn what they were doing to treat cancer. It's only because of your support that we have been able this year to travel across the globe and to do over 100 new interviews with top scientists, researchers, doctors, and cancer patients that are preventing, treating, and beating cancer. What you just saw represents less than half of the total interviews that you will see over the next 9 days.
Why set out on a quest across the globe in search of the true cures to cancer? You may ask, why would I be so set on finding cancer's true preventions and treatments? Did you know that almost 50% of the people alive today will face cancer? Did you know that 1 in 4 males alive today will die from cancer and 1 in 5 females will die from cancer? While these statistics give enough reason for many good people to search out the answers, they are not the central reason that triggered my journey across the globe in search of the true answers for cancer. Let me tell you why I had to embark on this journey. For me, everything began with an irreplaceable loss. It's an old wound beginning 20 years ago, but sometimes it still feels like it just happened yesterday. I lost both my mother and my father to cancer. Well, in all actuality, it was actually to cancer's false treatments. I also lost 5 other close family members to cancer and its so-called treatments. After my folks died, I was angry and paralyzed by grief. I couldn't see any good coming out of what had happened to them, and I felt like their lives were wasted, and Charlene, my wife, and our children were robbed of precious future memories. But it was in the moment that the first book I wrote about cancer's treatments got into the hands of someone seeking the life-saving information on cancer that everything changed. I then realized for the first time that my parents' life and deaths actually mattered. Just last year, everything we learned culminated in the quest for the cures. Fast forward to The Truth About Cancer, a Global Quest. I knew that this endeavor would take more energy, research time, and more tears than anything Charlene and I had ever done before. Again, it was difficult to leave my precious wife and children, and at times I questioned whether it was worth the sacrifice to take this quest around the globe, but Charlene was the first one to tell me that I had to go. I truly owe this entire mission to my precious wife. She was my hope when I'd given up. She was my faith when I was barely holding on, and she was a gift from heaven, and she still is. Oh, and a word about my children. A rule that I learned as a father: never leave your kids out. Our eldest, Brianna, is a diligent worker and adventurous. She loves her animals, the outdoors, and brandishing her pocket knife skills. Bryce has a hysterical sense of humor, a high set of values, respects his elders, and he loves sports like basketball. Then there's Tabitha with her comical laughter, her gentle care for her little sister, and her love for animals and dressing up like a princess. And finally, our youngest, Charity, who loves nothing more than clinging to Mommy and Daddy and playing with her big sissy, Tabitha. Having these precious children and a wonderful wife has taught me that life is worth fighting for. So it was time for me to embark on this journey, venturing into the areas of the world with more equipment than we can handle, with a chance of getting stopped by authorities, which actually happened more than once, having equipment failure or challenge to health or safety for the team and myself. But the bigger personal challenge for me was knowing each day that I would be revisiting the loss of my mother and father and the things that I could have done if I had known about them earlier that would have saved their lives. And yet it is this pain that pushes me further. Dad's my hero. He would be proud of what we're doing. Of that, I'm sure. You are about to learn the best treatments and preventions to cancer, protocols that won't harm your body, from the world-leading doctors across the globe. You'll see and experience things you wouldn't have even believed had you not watched each of these 9 episodes and seen the science and documented evidence to support the countless people that are living witnesses that there are true answers to the dreaded disease of cancer. Get ready for one of the most transformational experiences of your life as we journey into a 9-day quest to find the true answers for cancer. This is The Truth About Cancer, a global quest.
We travel the entire globe to gather this life-saving information so that we can empower you with knowledge. Please tell your friends and family to tune in for the next 9 days. This information is of vital importance. Dr. Ivars Calvins, one of the 2015 finalists for the European Medicine Award, explains why.
It is calculated that the new generation, the generation of today, from this generation, each second man and each third woman will have this illness, the cancer.
1 in 2 men and 1 in 3 women that are alive today are going to face cancer. That's why we at The Truth About Cancer are so passionate about our mission to educate, expose, and eradicate cancer once and for all. In order for us to educate, we felt that it was vitally important that we obtain the most cutting-edge information about cancer preventions and treatments, and that's why we traveled across the globe and we obtained interviews with over 100 new experts representing over 20 different countries. A big portion of educating people about the truth is exposing the lies, and that's why specifically in this episode 1, we are going to be exposing the lies about the history of modern medicine and the history of cancer treatments. So after the next 9 days of educating you about the truth and exposing the lies, together we will be one step closer to eradicating cancer once and for all. But let me ask you a question. Can someone educate someone else about something that they know nothing about?
They gave us a whole hour on nutritionals. A whole hour in 4 years of medical school. And they told us there's vitamin A and B1 and B2 and C and D, and they're in alphabetical order, and you can look them up. And then they told us some really basic facts. We got a whole hour.
First of all, how much training did you receive on nutrition when you were in medical school? Because I know here in the States, it's almost none.
Yeah, not much.
Not much?
Not much.
Even in Argentina?
It's close to yeah, very little.
Close to none?
Very little.
Because in medical school they don't teach you anything about nutrition.
It's so vitally important for us to understand this history if we were going to answer that question, why is modern medicine so drug intensive? And it's not because patent petrochemical medicine is superior. It's because of monopoly medicine, which was created over 100 years ago. The word doctor actually means teacher, and so doctors should be educating their patients and teaching their patients, but unfortunately, the only thing that doctors are taught while they're in medical school is how to prescribe drugs.
We got hours and hours and hours on how to use basically patent medicines, which, as you know, are what usually goes on the prescription pad as a molecule that can be patented, which means it's not found in nature, because you can't patent it if it's not found in nature, if it's found in nature, and that's what we get educated in.
They don't get paid to educate people; they get paid to write prescriptions. And you can imagine the drug lobby made sure that's the case.
The doctor is brainwashed when he gets out of medical school because the medical school has too much subsidization of the professors who are being paid by the drug company. So the professor never teaches any student in medical school, why don't you try vitamin C? They're going to tell them the latest drug.
And that's by design, specifically. About over a century ago, there's foundations, the Carnegie and the Rockefeller foundations, who sort of engineered the curriculum through their grants and donations.
Are you wondering what Dr. McCullough meant when he mentioned that the Carnegies and the Rockefeller foundations engineered medical school curriculum over a century ago? He was referring to the Flexner Report of 1910, which we covered in our last documentary.